Okay, let's try this again. Can everybody hear me now? I just want to double check and see. Can you hear me? All right, just double checking, see if everyone can hear me. Hello? Check, check, one, check. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello? Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Elaine. Wow. All right. That was a wonderful and interesting, occurrence that we all just, thank you all for the teamwork this evening. I'm so glad that you can hear me loud and clear now. Let's try that all again. Shabbat Shalom. It's so great to be here with everyone. Shabbat Shalom, Manny and Sharon and Steve and Joan and Binny and Elaine and Frank and Rich and everyone else who is here. It is so great to all be here together tonight. And thank you all for letting me know that we were having some sound trouble, and also now that it is all remedied. And so we all take a breath as we gather here at the beginning of this Independence Day weekend, at the beginning of this Shabbat, the beginning of this new month of July, at the beginning of this perhaps new phase in the pandemic, as we all begin to turn the corner towards reopening, towards taking steps in, out of our homes, inwards towards one another. And as we all sit here in our homes together to bring in Shabbat. And so let's light our Shabbat candles and bring in this long weekend of independence. And so we light our candles together on page 5. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlik ner shelesh Shabbat. Yaradanai nai nai, yaradanai nai nai, yaradanai ai ai nai nai, yaradanai nai nai, yaradanai ai nai, yaradanai ai nai, yaradanai ai ai nai nai, yavanai nai nai, yaradai ai ai ai, yavanai ai nai, yaradanai nai ai nai nai, yaradai nai nai, yaradai ai ai ai, yaradanai nai nai, yaradai ai nai 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 nai. Page 7, Yedid nefesh avarachaman mishoch avdecha el retzonecha yarut avdecha kemo hayal yishtachavel mul hadarecha Fatsuf bechol tzam ay 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 yaranai nai nai yaranai nai nai yaranai ay ay nai nai yaranai nai nai yaranai nai nai yaranai nai nai yaranai ay ay nai nai yaranai nai nai yaranai ay nai The last verse. Higalena ufros chavivi alai et sukat shelomecha ta'ir eretz michotecha nagila v'nismecha bach maher ahuf kiva moed v'choneni ki me'olamaya yaranai yaranai Page 25, Psalm 96, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Hadash. Sing unto Adonai a new song. We are going to, throughout this evening, in honor of our Independence Day weekend, be singing a lot of songs to perhaps new melodies, or at least new melodies for those songs, through a sort of festive key for our, again, Independence Day holiday. So we'll start with a fairly traditional one for this one, but do keep up, because we are going to be singing a couple Shirei Hadash, a few new songs this evening, or perhaps songs in a new way, as we celebrate this anniversary of the birth of our American nation. Psalm 96. Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Baseruhu Miyom Layom Yeshuato, Shiru Ladonai, Shir Chadash, Shiru Ladonai, Kol Haaretz, Shiru Ladonai, Baruchu Shemo, Baseruhu Miyom Layom Yeshuato, Baseruhu Miyom Layom Yeshuato. Page 31, at the bottom of the page, at the asterisk, well, I guess at the bottom of the Hebrew of the page, and then transliterated below, Or Zarua Latzadik Uliyishrei Lev Simcha. Light beams are sown for the righteous, happiness for those steadfast of heart. Whenever I sing that line, beyond the Hasidic masters who very much took up this line from the Psalms and used it as a way of thinking about the tzaddik, the righteous of the generation, I often think about our founding fathers of this nation, who likened in very prophetic language, sort of reminiscent of the book of Isaiah, America to a Zion shining bright on a mountaintop, or Zarua Latzadik, that a light shines for the righteous, Uli Yishrei Lev Simcha, and happiness to those who are steadfast of heart. As we think about patriotism today, we perhaps think about it in a way that is different than our founding fathers. We think about an America for everyone, not just for landholding white men of privilege, but for everyone. For those upon whose backs our nation was built, those who we enslaved for generations and generations, who we now stand side by side with, living free in our America. Friends, family, neighbors of all colors, creeds, religions, ethnicities, backgrounds, each of us carrying our own story. We as Jewish Americans carry our own story, but not just one, all kinds of American stories. Uli Yishrei Lev Simcha. And when we are honest about our story, when we are honest about the limitations of our stories, and when we are honest about the different shades of our stories, the diversity of our stories, then truly simcha, we can be of upright heart and be filled with joy. Or zarua latzadik, uleishrei lev simcha, page 31 at the asterisk. Or zarua latzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Uleishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Uleishrei lev simcha. Hi 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 hi. Yai hi 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 hi. Yai hi hi hi. Yai hi hi. Or zarua latzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Uleishrei lev simcha. Or zarua latzadik, uleishrei lev simcha. Uleishrei lev simcha. Page 37, Psalm 29, we rise in spirit or in body. For me is more le David, havu l'Adonai b'nei elim, havu l'Adonai kavod va'oz, havu l'Adonai kevod shemo, ishtachavu l'Adonai b'hadrat kodesh, kol Adonai alamayim el hakavod hirim. Adonai alamayim rabim, kol Adonai b'koach, kol Adonai behadar, kol Adonai shover arazim, vayishaber Adonai et arzei halvanon, vayarkidehem kmo egel Lebanon, Vesirion, Kemo ven re'imim, Kol Adonai chotev lahavotesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai cholel hayalot, Vayechasov Yeharot Uvehechalo Kulo Merkavod Adonai Lama Buyashav Yeshev Adonai Melech Leolam Adonai Oz Le'am Yiten Adonai Yevarech Et Amo V'Shalom Page 41, Lecha Dodi, to Lincoln's Nigun, a melody by Joey Weisenberg, inspired, I guess, and when he wrote it, as soon as it came out of his mouth, he heard sort of like music inspired by Aaron Copland and that genre of Americana, and so he named it Lincoln's Nigun. And so I want to invite us into this Independence Day and a Mariv that will take on a little bit of a Nusach America with this melody to Lecha Dodi. Yanai, 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 Likrat kala nekavela ay lecha dodi likrat gala P'nei Shabbat nekabela Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad Ishmianu el hameyuchad Adonai echad u'shemo echad L'shem u'tiferet v'litechila lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha ki hi mekor haberacha merosh mikedem nesucha sof maaseh b'machshava techila lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekavela lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela top of page 45 Hitoreri Kiva orech kumi uri Shir daberi Kevod Adonai alayech niglai lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela page 47 Yamin u'smol tifrotzi v'et Adonai ta'aritzi al yadish bein partzi v'nismecha v'nagila lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela And we rise as we face the entrances to our own homes, whether it's raining or not, whether it's sunny or not, where you are, we all look out our doors to greet the Shabbat bride and outwards to face one another. Boi v'shalom ater et bala gam v'simcha u'v'tzochola toch emunei am segula boi chala lecha dodi likrat kala P'nei Shabbat nekabela B'nei Shabbat Nekabel Harai Yadai 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 Yadai. Page 57, we remain standing for the Barhu. As we look around this room, we notice one another's faces, their names, all of those in the chat. If you haven't already, take a moment to introduce yourself in the chat. So we say Shabbat Shalom to one another and notice that we have a minyan this evening, as we have throughout this time together online. Jules and Ruth, I'm so sorry that you guys went out to Or Hadash tonight and we ended up having to cancel due to the potential for rain. I don't know if it's raining out by where you are, but it's just starting to rain around here. We were hoping, as you put, to be in person tonight lighting sparklers for our candle lighting this evening. We will be putting that off to later in the summer because I have the sparklers, so we will use them, perhaps for services around Tu B'Av, or another time perhaps during the summer as we celebrate together al fresco, out in nature under the stars. Oh, Rich, you too. Well, I'm glad that you guys found us here on YouTube and that we are all together in person, even if it's not physically. We are here synchronously together online. And so we turn to page 57 for Barhu, and as we bless the source of life. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our vision clear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bivaraho mariv aravim b'chokhma poteach sheharim u'bivuna mishnei diunim u'mavir yom u'mevi laila u'mavdil ben kodesh ben yom u'vein laila Adonai tzivot shemo El Chai v'Kayam Tamid Yimloch Elo Aleinu Le'olam Vaed Baruch atah Adonai HaMariv Aravim. Ahavat Olam. We read together on page 61 in the English, and I want to invite us to share Ahavat Olam. We are loved by an unending love. Ahavat Olam means an eternal love. So I want to invite you to share in the chat on this Independence Day weekend some sort of an expression for love, either that this country, the United States, has shown to you, that you've shown to this country, something special that you appreciate, that you love about this land, the nature, the landscape, the people, tradition, custom, as we together read our interpretation, our interpretive version of Ahavat Olam by Rami Shapiro. We are loved by an unending love. We are embraced by arms that find us even when we are hidden from ourselves. We are touched by fingers that soothe us even when we are too proud for soothing. We are counseled by voices that guide us even when we are too embittered to hear. We are loved by an unending love. We are supported by hands that uplift us even in the midst of a fall. We are urged on by eyes that meet us even when we are too weak for meeting. We are loved by an unending love. Embraced, touched, soothed, and counseled. Ours are the arms, the fingers, the voices. Ours are the hands, the eyes, the smiles. We are loved by an unending love. Blessed are you, the beloved one, who loves your people Israel. Ve'avatecha lo tasur mimenu leolamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. The Shema, page 65. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol levavecha uv'chol nafshecha uv'chol meodecha, ve'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi metzavecha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta baham, v'shivtecha b'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'aderech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, ukashartam leot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, uchetavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. Hayim shmot yishmot totesh nechim etzavcha etem hayom. Continue silently with one of the two biblical selections that follows. Ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim liod lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem emet. When our ancestors beheld these truths, they proclaimed, among all the gods we can name, who can compare to the one beyond naming? Among all the quantities we can label, number, mark, and measure, which compares to the mystery at the heart of reality? Page 79, Mi Chamocha. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha nehedar b'kodesh, nora tehilot osefele, nora tehilot osefele, malechutecha ra'uvanecha, bokei ayam lifnei Moshe. Zelianu ve'hameru Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, ve'nemar kifad Adonai et Yaakov, uga'alo miyad chazak mimenu, Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch atah Adonai Ga'al Yisrael. Page 81, we turn to Hashkivenu. Hashkivenu is a blessing of protection, of safety. Safety from all kinds of things, from famine, hunger, the sword, those who mean to do us harm. A prayer only said in the evening because perhaps for our ancient ancestors that was the time out of the 24 hours of the day that was the most scary. When shadows lengthen and darkness falls, we need that extra protection. that sukkah of peace, perhaps the fireworks in the sky to remind us that there is light, that we can triumph over the darkness. We bring light into the darkness. It's why we celebrate with light. On Hanukkah, we increase the light, one more candle each night, until on the darkest night of the evening, our Chanukiah blares with 9 fully lit candles. On Independence Day, on other days of celebration, we light up the sky with fireworks and candles. On birthdays, we light candles on a cake in order to signify that we have made it another rotation around the sun. It is no small thing to make it through this world. And we do that, and we light up the darkness. We bring life into lifeless spaces. And so as we sing our Hashkivenu prayer in song this evening, I want to offer as a kavanah, an intention, the protection that we provide one another in our communities, across this nation, as we protect those more vulnerable than we, as we look around and see who in our communities is afforded less privilege than we are, and we extend that privilege and that protection as we have the backs of our neighbors, as we build together a safe and secure future for subsequent generations, as we always have done in this nation. We do that godly act of Hapore Sukkat Shalom, of spreading a shelter, a sukkah of peace for all of us, for all of our community, for all who dwell on earth. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, amidenu l'chaim, l'kinu l'chaim, ufros aleinu sukkat, sukkat shalomecha, ufros aleinu sukkat, sukkat shalomecha. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Sukkat shalomecha. Ushmor tzeitenu uvoenu lechaim u'leshalom me'ata ve'ad olam ufros aleinu sukkat shlomecha. Baruch ata Adonai haporei sukkat shalom aleinu ve'al kol amo Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'al Yerushalayim. We rise on page 85 for V'shamru. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Beinu v'bnei Yisrael oti leolam, oti leolam, oti leolam. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et ha'aretz. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit olam. Ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam berit Olam. Page 88, the bottom reading from Rabbi Sheila Peltz Weinberg, a prayer, pre-prayer, inviting us into this space, this modality, this kavanah, this intention that we bring to prayer. Dear God, open the blocked passageways to you, the congealed places. Roll away the heavy stone from the well, as your servant Jacob did when he beheld his beloved Rachel. Help us open the doors of trust that have been jammed with hurt or rejection. As you open the blossoms in spring, even as you open the heavens in storm, open us to feel your great, awesome, wonderful presence. Page 91, the Amidah, silent for Shabbat evening. Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi ki tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu. Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, hi, 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 hi. Yeah, hi, 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 hi. Yeah, hi, 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 hi. Oh, say shalom. Bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel ve'imeru Amen. All we are saying is give peace a chance. All we are saying is give peace a chance. Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to be here together with all of you tonight. And Shabbat Shalom to those who I hadn't gotten a chance to say Shabbat Shalom to yet. Shabbat Shalom to John and everyone down in Athens, Georgia. Shabbat Shalom to Benny and Manny, Rich and Frank, Sharon and Steve and Elaine and Joan. And Shabbat Shalom to everyone who hasn't taken a second to introduce themselves. Please do take a moment and introduce yourselves in the chat and share where you're joining us from tonight so that we can all join together in one community, knowing who's all together. And as we emerge from this, our most private part of our service, our silent Amidah, through the gateway of Oseh Shalom, our prayer for peace, we enter perhaps into our most public moment of our service, the Mishaberach Lecholim, our prayer for healing and wholeness, where we turn our hearts outward towards those in our community who are in need of healing and beyond our community into our wider world. This week has been a week of sadness and tragedy for so many across this country and indeed across the world as we've watched unfold the unthinkable outside of Miami, in that devastating apartment collapse. So many families devastated by loss, so many who survived who have lost everything, and so many whose bodies have yet to be uncovered and returned to their loved ones. And we hold them in our hearts this evening as we say our Mishaberach Lecholim, our prayer for healing and wholeness. We also, on this holiday weekend, of course, turn our hearts towards healing for all of those who with whom we loved so much to celebrate the 4th of July and other occasions, but who are not yet able to travel, either because they're recovering from illness or not yet ready or well enough or comfortable enough to travel to celebrate with family, even as we begin to emerge from this horrific pandemic. We hold with healing the loss of another year of celebratory gatherings for those who are not yet there, and for those whose communities it's not yet safe to do that in. So I want to invite us also to think of individuals and share names in the chat for whom we're thinking of for healing and wholeness tonight, as we join together in our prayer in song. Mishaberach Avotenu Makor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Makor HaBracha Leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen. And this evening we're thinking of and setting our hopes and our energy for healing and wholeness to Andrea Abrams Herbert, James Alberts, Roberta Archibald, Penny Aronson, Arden Bell, Barry Bell, Carol Mueller Bell, Rabbi Deborah Bowen, Bill Conrad, Robin Cupo, Francesca Dever, Faye Fishman, Marcy Fish, Brian and Joan Flaherty, Marcia Friend, Eric Gershman, Jonathan Giannini, George and Gail Glansberg, Barbara Granger, Ed Grimes, Alberta Hall, Cordula Hamish, Chava Hurley, Michelle Kalish, Sharon Cass, Beverly and Howard Kaufman, Fran Kaufman, Richard Krasson, Elsie Lieberstein, Jonathan Loeb, Len McEwen, Robert Mueller, Anthony Nero, Lisa Nicholson, Riley and Thomas Pablo, Stan Pollock, Abby Rosenberg, Mike Rosenberg, Shelley Sanders, Willie Schneer, Bertha Schwartz, Margaret Steiber, Lloyd Suter, Jeff Taylor, Lynn Van Engel, Isabel Vita, Brandy Waslewski, Stan Weckstein, Millie Weissman, Grace Zangwill, Eileen Zeff, Eric Griffin Shelley, June Powell, Rob Johnson, Doug Proudman, John Warner, and Marty Applebaum, and Dorothy Berlin. And let us say Amen. When we turn to page 119 and we rise in spirit or in body for Kiddush, we raise our glass in a l'chaim to life, toasting all of those who are celebrating simchas, happy occasions in their life, because community stands with one another in hard times and in times where healing and wholeness are called for, and also in joyful times of celebration. So I want to invite you, if you're celebrating something, a birthday, an anniversary, any kind of a simcha, a joyful reunion, anything exciting in your life, Thanks, Jules. Indeed. Wonder why I'm so tired. We, in fact, in our family are celebrating Eitan is just now 3 weeks old. So I apologize for the extra yawns. But yes, if you're celebrating something in your home or in your family or in your neighborhood, I want to invite you to share it here so that we can raise our glass in a l'chaim to all of you. And I also want to call, do I have a kiddush helper? Oh boy, oh yes, she calls from upstairs. So on page 119, we turn for kiddush. All right, we have a kiddush helper who's in pajamas.
And the baby's in matching.
Oh, and the baby is in matching pajamas tonight. I don't know whether we're going to get a glimpse of him. Oh, kiddush helper. Now remember, wait till the end of the bracha.
Okay.
Okay.
Is this apple juice?
It's
What is it?
It's juice.
Apple juice?
White grape juice. Savri chavirai. L'chaim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'ratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila lemikra'ei kodesh zecher letziyat mitzrayim ki eleinu karata v'otanu kidashta la'avodatecha B'Shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch ata Adonai mekadesh haShabbat l'chaim. L'chaim and l'chaim. To Sharon and Steve's 3 grandchildren, Sully, Evie, and Josephine. Good juice this week? Oh, good.
It's actually
And we remain standing for Aleinu on page 121. Thank you, Kiddush helper. Aleinu l'shaveach ladon hakol lateit gedula leotzer bereshit shenatan lanu torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tocheinu v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu notesh v'avios et haaretz u'moshe shtinat u'zot b'gofim e'romim. Kakatuv b'toratecha Adonai imlach leolam va'ed v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom ha'u yihyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. You can be seated. And before we turn to Mourner's Kaddish on page 131, I want to share a prayer of healing for our nation by Rabbi Jen Gubitz. If you want to find it yourself, you can search on ritualwell.org for healing for our nation or Jen Gubitz, but a Misha Berach on the occasion of this Independence Day. We pray now, Misha Berach, to the source of blessing, repair the rent garments of our souls, stitch the ripped fabrics of our society, bandage the holes in our hearts, cure our sicknesses, treat our ailments, lighten the burden of our treatments. Give us strength, offer us release us from suffering. Heal my dad, guard my mom, soothe my sister, love my brother. Support my loved one, revive my friend, nurture all who live in the in-between, notice all who are unseen, renew our courage, restore our breaches, rescue our wholeness, root us all in the ever-sturdy tree of life. Mi sheberach nishmotenu, may the one who blesses all of our souls bring us healing and bless us with love, understanding, wholeness, and peace. Benomar, and we say, Amen. And we begin to conclude our service as we turn in our hearts and in our memories to those whom we've loved and lost at this season in years past. And as we turn in our books to page 131, to Kaddish Yatom, to Mourner's Kaddish, we note that we mark the Yortzites this week, the anniversaries of the passing of Josephine Freifelder, aunt of Rich Freifelder, Robert A. Fisher, father of Steve Fisher, Leonard Rubenstein, father of Debbie Carl, Ronald Popke, brother of Cheryl Burson, William Bell, father-in-law of Deb Schaefer, Sherelle Jacobson, father of Peter Jacobson, Jack A. Gantman, father of Debbie Levin, Douglas Jacobson, brother of Peter Jacobson, Irving Kurtz, father of Rhoda Gansler, June Press, mother of Sharon Starr, Milton Schacht, father of Ed Schacht, Evelyn Mendelson, mother of Phil Mendelson, Loretta Fogel, former member and friend of Michelle Smithman, Branya Rozlovsky, mother of Beverly Sklover, grandmother of, myself, great-grandmother and namesake of Bina, Vivian Polanski, mother of Binny Polanski, Elizabeth Carlin, mother of Jessica Fireman, and Abud Franco, grandfather of Meryl Stern. We also mark that this week was the anniversary of the passing of Philip Lindy, whose name we read last week. And also I want to note, thank you, Jules, the passing this week of Jules and Ruth's brother-in-law, Hal Goodman, who passed on Wednesday. And we extend our deepest condolences to your whole family. And so on this holiday weekend, this long list of Yortzites, I want to invite mourners, those observing Yortzeit, to rise in spirit or in body for Mourner's Kaddish. And although we cannot see each other right now visually, we know through the names that we just read who among us is standing. And I want to note the large percentage of folks who are standing together this week. There are sometimes these weeks where there are many Yortzites and they travel together, and it's like across different sectors of our community, even though they may have passed years and years apart. There are people in our community drawn together because they have overlapping Yortzites. And so as we imagine we're looking around a room, or perhaps looking around our Or Hadash patio, as we will be throughout this summer, noticing who's rising with us as we rise in spirit or in body for Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemeh Rabbah, be'alma divrach cherutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam u'lalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemeh tekudsha brichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tush b'chata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael, ve'el kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru. Amen. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be a blessing for all of us. Shabbat shalom. Before we conclude on page 133 with Adon Olam, I want to make a couple of quick announcements, messages. We are on our summer Shabbat schedule, which means that tomorrow morning is Torah study at 9 a.m. at Or Hadash in the sanctuary, followed by services. But next Friday, the 9th, there will be no Friday night service. We go every other Friday night in the summer, although there will be Torah study and Shabbat morning services on Saturday. So we are every Saturday, but every other Friday in the summer, and that's through Labor Day. But our next time that we're together for Friday night, the 16th of July, is Pride Shabbat, our second annual Pride Shabbat, and it's going to be a twofer. At 6 p.m., we will be having a family sparkle pride. It's going to be sort of like a Tot Shabbat plus. So so it's going to be right down the middle for our Tot Shabbat crowd, but probably also folks up to like 4th or 5th grade. So young to middle elementary school as well. And maybe we're going to have some face painting. We're going to have some glitter. We're going to sing some songs. We're going to wear some rainbows and celebrate our incredible and diverse children and families and communities, and hold up the gender diversity of all of our folks of all ages and stages. You do not have to be a child in order to attend the 6 o'clock Sparkle Pride. It is indeed for all ages and stages. And then at 7 o'clock, we will have our Pride Shabbat service, which will be online, and is going to it is going to feature a wonderful speaker who's going to talk about transgender rights and the transgender community under legislative fire, and what we can do in order to support trans rights, both within Jewish spaces and in and across our country in general, in our area. And we are really thrilled to be bringing a wonderful speaker as well as Pride Shabbat to our community for the second year in a row. And we thank, actually Jules is here tonight. Jules has been very involved with the Inclusion Committee on planning this under the leadership of Wendy Elliott Vandeveer. And so we thank our Inclusion Committee for putting together this wonderful evening. I believe Rich is also on the Inclusion Committee, so thank you to Rich for helping to plan this event as well. And then on Saturday night, the 17th of July, is Erev Tisha B'Av. And so please keep your eyes open for additional communications from our tri-chairs of Tisha B'Av, Pat Steinberg, Jeff Chebet, and Dan Schwartz, for more information about that, how to be involved, and be in touch with one of the three of them if you want to chant from the Book of Lamentations, Echa, this year, or if you want to share one of the English readings during our Erev Tisha B'Av gathering and ritual. If you haven't been, it's a very powerful ritual, and I want to invite you to check it out, and to join us for that evening. Harriet asks, will Friday night Zoom sessions end soon? Great question, Harriet. So our plan is that Friday nights we're going to continue to stream services here on YouTube Live, whether we are at the synagogue or not. Tonight, because of a very dodgy weather forecast, which seems to at different places across our region be pouring some rain and giving some clouds, depending on where you are. It forced us inside in our homes this evening, but we are going to be slowly but surely returning to our Or Hadash space, but we're going to keep the live stream going for Friday nights. And for Saturday mornings, Torah study is going to continue both on site at Or Hadash and also for the foreseeable future, interactive on Zoom. So if you have been joining us from afar, like Harriet, and like John and Co. and others, and also for our Or Hadashers who live in Philadelphia and the suburbs part of the year, and then elsewhere another part of the year, we will be continuing to be accessible by technology, even as the locus of our community shifts back to the Or Hadash space. We do want to remain accessible to those who wish to access our community and be a member of the community from afar. I think that those are all of my announcements and messages. If there are others, please do put them in the chat if there's anything that I've forgotten, and I apologize to you. Oh, wait, one other, sorry. This week is the first week of the month, which means that Wednesday night will be the 12-step Chavurah at 7:30 p.m. And Rich, if you can confirm for me, for us, is that on Zoom or is that physically at Or Hadash? And Rich will confirm that in the chat. But that is 7:30 p.m. on Wednesday the 7th, our 12-step Chavurah, which means the first Wednesday of the month. And so we'll conclude tonight with on page 133 with Adon Olam. Yai hi 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 hi. Adon Adon olam asher malach beterem kol yitzir nivra liet nasa bechefto kol azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei kichlot hakol levado yimloch nora vehu haya vehu hove vehu yihye betifara vehu echad v'yein sheni lehamshilo lehachbira beli reshit beli tachlit belo haoz ve'hamisra vehu eli v'chai goali ve'tzur chavli b'heitzara vehu nisi omanos li menat kosi beyom ekra beyado afkid ruchi v'eiti shan ve'aira ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li velo ira Adon olam asher malach beterem kol yitzir nivra lihet nasa bechefso kol azai melech shemo nikra. Shabbat Shalom. Happy Independence Day, and we wish you a wonderful, healthy, and fun-filled weekend. From our home to your home, Shabbat Shalom.